We are live. Welcome to the Worst Golf Podcast. Everybody wants to be the best. We strive to be the worst. When a bad take is necessary, we'll be here to share it with you. I'm your host, JB, and with me is Morgan.
Hello.
She's going to spend quite a bit of time off camera this week, but she's got a pretty good epic rant that I'm going to look forward to.
Yeah, I do.
Coming up later. I'm not even going to go through the spiel anymore. Like, before we get started, like and subscribe. I don't care.
Like it. Yes, you do.
I mean, I do
we
care.
We
but
care. Like and subscribe. You get it.
Yeah, you guys get the drill.
Yeah.
Leave us a review. Apple Podcasts, it matters. YouTube doesn't really have those. You can leave a comment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't understand the whole algorithm things, but just do everything you can so that we keep climbing up the ladder.
I do not either. So this week we got quite a bit to talk about because we've been off for a little bit.
Yeah, but you have quite a bit to talk about.
Yeah, I do have quite a bit to talk about. We make a little list of notes here, and it has what camera? Because we have 3 cameras here.
And the best part is it's a shared thing. And when Josh is typing, I can see him typing. And it's a little bouncing arrowhead. Well, nobody really cares, but I'm amused by it.
I don't have that. He is directly next to you that they can kind of see.
Yeah.
But yeah, fresh off a couple of trips.
Yes.
But the most recent one being a content trip we did with Mizuno at Ballyhack. I feel like Ballyhack's become my second home.
Kind of, yeah.
And they kind of feel that way too, I'm sure.
Yeah, a little bit. They should just name like cottage number 8 after you.
Cottage number 8's a good one.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It should just be like Babbitt Cottage or something like that.
I was in Cottage 1 this time, which is one of the originals, but it's a good spot because you're over right by, like, you could walk out your front door. No, you're all of them are kind of close to the goats, but you could walk out your front door and hit 40-yard pitch shots at the 18th green.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
It's kind of nice. Yeah. And that's one of the originals, and it's just a good spot. But I love the course. But I went out there with Mizuno, and it was myself, Vosh, Walker, and John. And I hadn't met John yet, but spoken to him, exchanged some emails. He works in R&D there. And I remember, I think it was last show when Walker was in the chat saying, oh, by the way, he's our best golfer. They were not kidding. Yeah. I believe he played in the USAM. I'm not entirely sure.
I think he told me
he played. He was a college golfer. Really good. Chris back playing really good. Was nice to see. Walker and I got absolutely spanked.
You had a couple of...
No, we didn't. It looked like it in the score, but we really didn't.
No.
They were pop holes where they happened to go awry briefly.
Right.
Like, we had to do the miraculous, and I contributed absolutely 0.
Okay.
But, we got to go out there and we got to film some content. And some of it was like the fun stuff that we do, the industry what's in the bag. And I'll get into some of those in a little bit. But part of it was, it's nice to catch up with people that you don't get to see all the time and that aren't fresh releasing products, and then get to go over those new products and talk a little bit about that, of what's coming. Because you want to be educated when it comes to the release and people sharing everything.
We saw the teaser you posted.
Which one?
Just a picture of a head cover.
Oh, yeah. That was a good club.
Yeah.
We
didn't know what it was. For all we knew, it wasn't even a club.
So if you look back at the Mizuno timeline of products, and I don't want to say we could call it BV or AV before Vosh and after Vosh. Not when it comes to working at Mizuno, he's been there since the 20s, I think. But when it comes to him being on the product side, not the R&D side, and you watch the gradual step they made, and I'm not relating it that he's the responsible one. I relate part of it to he's the responsible one of communicating those messages, because they've always made really good equipment. But the messaging that they have coming on new metal woods is outstanding. It has been for the last 3 cycles. And obviously we spoke a little bit about that with that hidden head cover picture. And you'll see in the next couple of industry what's in the bag, some teasers coming out as well, especially for left-handers. If you're a lefty and a Mizuno fan, you may want to pay attention.
That's a little interesting.
When they started this process, I was excited for them. I like golf gear. There's no secret about that. It wasn't until this last one, the 230, that got me really excited. And now I'm continuing to see that. I've been excited for their irons for a long time. There's some that didn't wow me like others, but overall really good. And it's a great spot to be, because so many companies are making great equipment, but I don't want to say that and say that they're all making the same, because that's complete nonsense. But during this trip, I realized something. I'm fucking terrible at golf. I'm sorry. And I thought I was turning over a new leaf, and I'd been working on my game a little bit, and I was getting better. And then I got out there and stunk.
Right.
It was the worst I've played in probably 5 years.
Yeah, you did say it was hands down your worst rounds of golf in a long time. Do you think you felt pressure?
No.
No?
Because yes, the guys I was playing with were all really good,
Right.
but that hasn't impacted me. I've played with tour professionals and things like that. That's never really bothered me. It's this uneasy feeling of standing in front of the ball or at setup and having no idea where the ball is going. And the constant, I don't want to say switching of gear because that's never really impacted me. I think that's a good thing. But the constant timing when you're a timing swing guy, because obviously if anybody who's ever seen me swing knows it's not exactly a textbook.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a timing guy.
What did you call it? Folding lawn chair?
Yeah,
yes.
That's a good description of it. But when you're a timing guy and the timing is off,
right,
everything just goes bad. And it went bad. If somebody would have told me after that round that I shot 130, I would have believed them.
Right.
It was that bad. The next day, I didn't play the round. I was with the guys filming content. And ironically enough, I hit 4 golf shots and they were all really good. So obviously, things change here, ebbs and flows. And I got to the point where I actually sent you a message and said, I don't know if I want to keep playing anymore.
Right.
And
I gave you my usual pep talk.
Yeah.
Take a break. You'll get some time off, and then you'll get back out there. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, because I've always been I always classify golf in 4 categories. There's the drinking part of it. There's the social part of it. There's the serious part of it. And then there's the competition part of it. And I've always kind of fallen in the 2 pockets of social and serious. I don't drink on the golf course. So I like being social with everybody there. And I don't want to say take the game seriously, but enjoy the serious part of the game.
Right.
But
you've been a sports guy your whole life. You enjoy that competition.
Right.
Even if it's not super serious, you still enjoy the competition.
Exactly. And so seeing how bad it had gotten, and then there's been spots where I've been pretty good,
right.
But seeing how bad it was really made me question whether or not I wanted to continue playing. And obviously, I'm going to continue playing. And that's probably more of a woe is me.
Tiny violin.
Yeah, get the violins out as I'm playing this amazing golf course. But, I want to take a step back and be still the same social serious, because that's where the 2 pockets I fall into, but maybe take the serious part a little more and not really grind. That's not my nature because I'm not very good. But work a little harder. I have the opportunity to go play Ballyheck, Hidden Creek, and Victoria National in a row. Those are 3 amazing golf courses. And I'm going to get to do so with THPers and the 4 members, which is also amazing. And some industry icons, also amazing. I'd rather not shit the bed when I'm there.
I understand that.
And I don't mean play amazing, but just play to my potential and my abilities. So that's kind of my rant of the week. You'll have your own later on, but God, I was really effing terrible.
I know.
It was.
I don't know.
Bad.
I wasn't there, but I know from what you told me.
It started on the first tee where I went so far left that Hillary Clinton would have been jealous. That's how far left I was.
Throwing politics into it now. Uh-oh.
So that is that. I know there's a lot of people tuning in because they want to find out if they got into the Granddaddy contest. We will have that later on in the show, but we do have a winner. We do have a new participant.
Yes.
And I'm pretty excited for him. That's all I'm going to say.
So you're saying it's a guy?
Yes, it is a guy.
Okay. Clue number 1.
Yeah. I think we might have had 1 or 2 females sign up.
That's awesome.
But in this case, it wasn't.
Yeah, I figured it would be, but I was just throwing that out there.
So we've had some new content coming out lately.
Yeah.
And one of them was our industry What's in the Bag. And I got a question the other day about where did the idea come from? It's not like it's some revolutionary idea. It's,
what's in the bag?
I happen to be around these people. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give the answer because it's kind of funny in that people think when we get together and meet with these companies, it's all serious or things like that. And a lot of times it's us shooting the shit about what equipment we're playing.
Yeah.
I sat and last time I was at Callaway, I was talking with, I want to say it was Zach Oakley, and we were talking about what equipment's in his bag and what changes. This is before we talk about the Chargers shitting the bed for him. But we talked about that, and then he was asking what I made changes on and things like that. So we started doing it, and I thought to myself, like, I bet other people would be interested in this too. Let's roll it out. Yes, I know if you're filming somebody at Callaway, they're going to have Callaway clubs in their bag.
Right.
But not everybody is from an OEM. We have shaft people. We're going to have grip people. We have social media people. We might even have other media people.
Mm-hmm.
We might even have THP staff.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of different breakdowns, but we have a lot coming from that. And that's kind of where the idea came from. And then we have a new segment coming out that we filmed our first one. And normally I wouldn't give the kind of teaser like this, but I want to, and I'm going to apologize for part of it because the sound is freaking god awful. Something happened with our mic during it where it did not record from our mic and it actually recorded from the camera. I don't know why on
weird.
One of them. Yeah, I know. It's never happened before, but so there's some wind issues in that, and there's some quiet times, but it's worth it. It's called Play the Hole.
Mm-hmm.
And we mic somebody up. In this case, we did it with Chris at Mizuno, and we play a hole, and we have a couple of them done, and the decisions they make, the equipment they chose, how they play it. It's going to surprise some people because it's not traditional.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are going to like that. And I think this is going to be a good one. And we'll have the first one of those rolling out in the next week or so. I still got a little bit of editing to do. But it is playing the 9th hole at Ballyhack with Chris Vishal. And it's a longer par 5 with an elevated green. And it's pretty cool how the decisions he make going into that led to a pretty darn good score.
People are excited about it. I'm reading all the comments.
Oh, great. So look forward to that. And we're going to have quite a few of those coming up over the course of the year with a lot of different industry people. And I think people are going to really enjoy it. We just booked another content trip, though, the two of us.
Yes, we did.
We are headed to California later this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For a lot of different stuff, including some of this stuff, some industry what's in the bags.
Yep.
And we're also going to be doing some 2024 planning, which is both fun and nerve-wracking.
And crazy that it's already like to that point.
It's kind
Although we've already been doing some 2024 planning.
Yeah, we've released quite a bit already about certain things coming back, and we'll have some more on that coming up because there's some confusion there. But I'm pretty excited about this trip because there's still a lot of unknowns for us for next year.
Mm-hmm.
But also some really good equipment coming out that I look forward to going a little more in depth than what I already have. What are you most looking forward to about this trip?
Oh, you put me on the spot here. For me, it's just always seeing people.
Yeah.
Because you see them throughout the year, but I don't get to see anybody because I'm usually back at the office.
We could trade.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
But I think that for me, that's what it is. It's just getting to see people.
And you've been talking to somebody and you have some good news to drop.
Yes. So I've been talking to Jose pretty much every single day. We text back and forth all the time. And he's back at work now. And I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, he's been out for a long time.
Yeah, a long time. He's easing his way back in, but he read all of your comments and was really appreciative to everybody for wishing him well. So he is back at work, slowly but surely getting himself back into the groove. So I'm super happy for him.
Yeah, he came at the right time with Ricky, doing pretty well at the US Open,
seriously.
Giving himself a chance. I'm going to jump into a couple of THPer questions. Then we have a lot more to cover this week.
Yes.
First one is, which OEM is close to being a major player? And this is a really good question, but I want to preface this by what is a major player. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because what does it count by?
Is it based on sales?
Yeah,
is it based
exactly.
on marketing? Like, what are we outside the top 5? Are we outside the top 6, the top 4? Generally speaking, when people talk about golf equipment, they talk of the top 4, which if you lump everything together, it would be Callaway, TaylorMade, Titleist, and Ping. Mm-hmm. That would be the top 4. And that leaves a few companies on the outside, your Cobra, Mizuno, Cleveland, Strixon. And when you start combining those, how does that change things? Right. With Zexio as well, Tour Edge. So this is a hard one for me to answer because I'm going to try to keep it in context. But if we're looking at it from those top 4 as a differentiator, I would say nobody.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good sizable lead there. But there's a caveat to that. First off, it is certainly not demonizing or putting down the other equipment, because I can tell you from a personal standpoint, I think some of those other ones are even better than a few of the other ones. The ones in that made no sense whatsoever. Than a few of the ones in the top 4. It's been a long day.
The crazy thing is, I knew exactly what you were trying to say.
But out of those, I would say depends on the category.
Exactly.
Overall, I would say Mizuno. I was looking at some data this morning, and it showed them really making a move, especially in the iron category. And I've always said, like, why doesn't Mizuno sell wedges like they sell irons? It makes no sense to me.
Nobody thinks of them for wedges.
But so that
I
was
shouldn't say nobody, but
that was part of it. If we're talking metal woods, maybe Cobra. First of all, the Aerojet this year is fantastic. There's one, if I can move my finger the right way,
it's so hard to figure out.
You can kind of see it. That's the anniversary driver right there. That thing is awesome. I actually up above me there is a limited edition. The one they did that kind of looked like a persimmon.
Yes. Yes.
That's also a Cobra driver, and there's no real reason why I have those two. I kind of like them.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to put that one next to the
correct Axon 10, because they made that sign for us. That was 5 years ago.
License plate. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, the license
plate.
So I hope that answers the question. I'm not sure if it does. If not, add that to this thread on the forum, the thread that has this show, and I can kind of expand on it a little bit. Speaking of expanding, you like that segue?
I do.
Yeah, you don't even know what I'm saying next.
I have no idea, because I was taking a drink of water and wasn't paying attention.
Yesterday, we dropped news that the Budget Championship was coming back to THP next year.
Mm-hmm.
And for the last 2 years, we had the Budget Championship with Bag Boy.
Yes.
Well, this year, coming year, 2024, it's a little different, because Bag Boy is separating and has their own. So we have the Budget Championship still returning, excited to announce that it's returning. And that came out last night. Prior to that, we had the Bag Boy Championship. That is a new event that's taking place.
Yes.
We have released no information about that other than it's coming.
It's coming. That's it.
And that Craig, who's been a part of the last two on the budget side, would be coming to this one.
Correct.
We're excited
Craig
about that.
From Bag Boy.
Yeah, Dynamic Brands.
Right, exactly. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood who that was.
Correct. So I hope that kind of spells it out. The Budget Championship is continuing. It's moving forward, and will be a similar style format that we've run with. The Bag Boy Championship is something new that is coming back.
Yes.
And we're excited about both of them. The Budget Championship, obviously, there's a little trophy right there that says, I am a champion.
Obviously.
Which, based on last week, would be the most shocking thing in the world. Because it was a disaster. Have I mentioned that? That it was a disaster?
It's possible.
Okay. Because it was a disaster.
Is it because the keyboard was blocking your flow?
It's possible.
Okay.
That did happen before we went live, is that Morgan put a keyboard in a spot that I wasn't appreciative of.
No. He's like, we need to move it. It's blocking my flow.
Yeah. Everybody needs a flow.
Yeah.
But yes, so there are two separate events. One is continuing, one is new.
Yes.
Okay. I hope that clears up some stuff for everybody. And I'm going to jump back into a THPer question. They asked about the US Open.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched a lot of it.
We did.
First, what did we think of the course? I thought the history was cool.
The history was
cool. The redo of it was a disaster, and it did not go well on TV.
No.
You asked, where are they playing this?
Yeah, I was like, wait. I thought that the US Open was supposed to be so hard that like maybe a 1_ would win it.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening? I don't understand.
No, it was. And I don't want to say it played easy. It first of all, it did open early rounds, but
yeah. Oh, the timing was stupid too.
Yeah, like finish up at 11.
I'm sorry. I think there should be some sort of rule that if you're going to put a major on the West Coast, that you have to start tee times at like 7:30. I just think you have to.
Yeah, I've always said that about sports in general too, and it's not to minimize the West Coast audience. It's that I understand work schedules, or in this case, weekend schedules, but I would rather somebody on the West Coast miss the beginning and see the end.
Yes, exactly.
And let the East Coast see the end than something else, but they don't see it that way.
It doesn't make any sense to me. No offense to the West Coasters. And I get it. It's like the bless your heart. Like it's offensive, but I just don't understand it. And I don't agree with it. That should probably have gone in a rant thing too. But
the second part of the thing about the US Open were the crowds. or lack thereof, the limiting of it and everything else. That was a freaking disaster. It looked
Awful.
like I was tuning into the John Deere.
Yeah.
You're not listening at all.
I was sorry. I was trying to read the comments. Oh, there's my hand in the.
Yeah. It looked like we were tuning into a club championship.
No,
there was nobody there.
It was super disappointing. The whole thing didn't make any sense, and I kept I understood that they were trying to limit it, but I shouldn't say I understood it. I know they were trying to, but I don't understand why. Like, what was the point behind it?
Well, that's different.
Oh.
Can you go ahead and turn that off?
I'm trying
since we're live.
I don't know how to. Someone's trying to FaceTime me, but I don't know how to make it a stop.
So the second part of that was, when you have the limited of the crowds and it's being talked about so much of the limiting of the crowds.
Yes.
Don't then try to have the entire crowd rush the 18th green
and
all of a sudden make the crowd relevant.
What was that?
Yeah, I'm good with them doing the crowding the 18th green, but not after you make a big deal about no crowds.
That was the part that made no sense to me. Like, you flip-flop so much. Like, I didn't like that. I didn't care for that at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So to me, it was lackluster for a US Open. I've always loved that tournament. But the last few, it's hard to say. It seems like they're trying too hard.
I don't even remember the last US Open. Is that bad?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, I feel like it was kind of forgettable.
It was.
And this one
definitely forgettable.
Well, it was honestly the only thing that makes it memorable is how bad it was.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Like, just how bad it was.
There's also
executed.
And I hate to take it away from Wyndham Clark, who was so, I want to say, brilliant for the entire tournament, but there was no excitement coming down the stretch because of the way the golf course was designed. There wasn't a risk reward. There was nothing there. It just, for us personally, it was flat.
Yeah, flat. That's a good way of putting it.
So we have some general musings I wanted to discuss. Okay. During the course of our couple weeks off, for me traveling, we made a mention a few weeks ago about the Dormy Network scent.
Yes.
And when you come back from traveling and you go to do your laundry and you open up your suitcase, you're like, oh, there it is.
Right.
And you requested this scent.
Yes, I wanted to know what this scent was.
And I finally brought it back for you.
You actually texted me a picture of yourself buying it.
Yes.
So I very much appreciated that.
And how is it?
It's amazing.
It's as good as you.
It's so good. We actually have been spraying it on the headboard every night before we fall asleep because it smells so good.
Yeah. So that is on the positive side of general musings. The negative side, the worst tasting energy drink in the history of the world.
Maybe it was a bad one still because the reviews are still good.
Yeah, I feel like those people may not have taste buds.
I don't know.
What's the name of it again?
I thought you wrote it down.
First work,
something work, just work,
work.
Maybe, I don't know. It's supposed to be cherry icy.
It's god awful.
Okay.
It tastes like a cross between this cherry icy is good and oh wow, did somebody shit in this can?
Basically, like if you were to ever smell like a sewage leak, that's what it like. That's what it tasted like.
And no, I am not drinking it.
No, it was really bad.
So
and the best part is this: I didn't try it. He tried it, and he was like, "Taste this." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Just taste it." So I take a sip. I was like, "Why would you do that to me? It's terrible."
It is terrible.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm not going to be the only one in this house that has to suffer.
That was messed up. That was so messed up.
I mean, I feel like that's just the way we do things, right?
Terrible.
Not terrible was the final season of Ted Lasso.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
They
had one crappy episode in there, but the rest were good.
I didn't even think there were too many crappy.
There was one where you said like, it was not great.
We don't talk a lot about TV on here or anything like that, but I'm going to miss that show. I think it's one of the best that's been on TV in a long time.
Yes. And I miss the accents, even though sometimes I couldn't understand what they were saying.
Yeah, the accents are pretty good. Yeah. Even though it is super, when you hear Jason Sudeikis talk about the thing and he doesn't have the Ted Lasso accent, you're like, what is happening?
And it's funny because I've known him, but I've known him, but I know his work prior to it where he didn't have the accent.
But if you didn't watch Ted Lasso, you really should. It's phenomenal.
You can get a 7-day free trial, binge watch.
Yeah, Apple. We can watch all 3 seasons.
Yeah, you really can.
But this final season was great. I thought the final episode was just okay. It didn't have enough closure for me, but maybe that means Ted Lasso's not going away.
Just Ted Lasso himself is, but not like the whole.
More. We need all more Roy Kent and Coach Beard forever.
All more?
Yeah, come on. It's been a long day.
Yeah, we need a lot more Roy Kent
and Coach Beard. Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Do you know what happens tomorrow?
I do know what happens tomorrow.
Assuming that people are watching live.
Yes.
A hidden door goes in.
Yes, it does.
And
I'm so happy.
We've talked about this before, but the door, the entry to our tech studio is finally going in, and I will make sure I take pictures and show it off on the forum because I've been excited. I've been waiting for this since I was a kid and I watched Webster for the first time.
What?
Yeah, I know it's before your time.
Yeah, way before my time.
It's not way before. Slow down. You're not that young.
Way before
You're
my
not
time.
that young. Slow down.
Way before. Way.
But he had hidden passages and stuff like that, and now I'm gonna have my very own. And I'm the only one who really cares. I mean, you care that it makes me happy, but you don't really care that the it's hidden or anything like that.
I'm excited that box is going to be gone.
That's true.
So you can finally put stuff away.
Yeah, there's going to be some stuff there, but we'll put up pictures because it's going to be pretty cool entrance to the tech studio. I'm currently testing the SkyTrack Plus in there right now. I hooked it up yesterday, and I got to say, it kind of blew me away.
You came downstairs, we're like, look.
I didn't expect much, but I knew it was going to work. SkyTrack worked previously, but this is really good. And I was pleasantly surprised at the gameplay. And I've always said, like, that's the one thing missing on the Foresight side. The data is great. It's accurate and everything else. But on Foresight, the actual gameplay and software leaves a lot to be desired. The gameplay was pretty good.
That's awesome. It's going to be like a bookcase. Somebody was asking if it's going to be a flat wall or a bookcase. So it's not going to be, it's going to look. So
it's not going to be like pull the candlestick and the door opens kind of thing.
So we have these little mini football helmets.
Yeah, they're all football helmets.
Yeah. And so they're building it so it's going to be like a display for the mini football helmet. So that's all you would see. So it would look like it was just like a built-in the wall, but then it would open and then you go into the tech studio.
Yeah.
So I hope that makes sense.
Excited about that. I mentioned earlier and in the show notes, the preview for the show, that we had a challenge to our community.
Yes.
And
this is a good one. I'm excited about this.
And I should say there's 2 challenges.
Okay.
And I'll start with the first one, which is we're going to go back to the health challenge we did earlier.
Yes.
But I'm going to explain why. And I believe last time I shared the reason why is because I went to tuck in my shirt and I got the fold down.
You got the fold over, yeah.
This one is far more graphic and way more disgusting.
Hide your kids.
Yeah. So I've been traveling, and on the way back from Ballyhack, I did not drive straight through.
Right.
I stopped and stayed at a hotel. And when I got to the hotel, it was time to take a shower.
Yeah.
And I decided to use the restroom first.
Uh-huh.
But when using the restroom, there was a mirror directly across from me.
I do not like when hotels do this.
Yes.
What are they thinking when they do this?
And I was
super
like,
weird.
Oh my God, there's a fat fucker. There's a fat guy in my bathroom.
Fat guy in a little
and don't
I
sing,
can't help
please.
it. I'm sorry.
And then I realized that's me.
Yeah.
And so I was not happy about it.
Uh-huh.
And I called you and said, okay, we're going to have a final meal. And then we're starting this thing again on Monday.
Yes. So the picture that you posted with the giant sandwich and
that was
your final meal.
So we have a health and nutrition. I don't even know what the title of the thread is. It's like
it's
nutrition.
Yeah,
whatever
like that.
the thread is.
It's stickied in the random and off topic.
Yeah. So the challenge to all THPers or whoever wants to not be fat like me is to post every single thing you eat in there. You know, not once at the end of the day. Each time you have something to eat, you make a post in there. And I don't want, if you skip a day, don't come back in here. Yesterday I ate this. I don't want to hear that.
Oh,
no. Just start back up where you are.
Okay.
No, it's not okay. This isn't your challenge. This is my challenge.
Okay.
And post everything you eat.
Okay.
And enjoy it. And try to be better. Because if you saw what I saw looking back at you in the mirror, you wouldn't feel this excited about it. So that's one of the 2 challenges.
Okay.
Do you have something to add to this since you're currently doing this and basically your entire life is this?
What do you mean my entire life?
No, you live this life. You live a healthy life.
I try to.
Yeah. Do you have something to add?
Get your steps in. I don't know. Get your steps in. I posted on the forum about the whole rucksack thing. And
that sounds horrible.
Yeah, I wanted him to do it with me.
Yeah, that's adorable.
That was a no. Then I tried to post it to some girlfriends of mine. They just didn't respond to me, so I took the hint on that one. I tried to call out Matt Maynard on the forum, and he basically shot me down too. So I guess I'm going alone.
Yeah. I mean, it's not exactly alone. There's 50 people that do
80
it.
actually.
80.
Last time
Wow.
it was 80.
God, 80 idiots walking down
Not
the street.
idiots. It sounds interesting.
Well, walking?
It's walking, but weighted walking.
I learned to do that when I was 3. I'm a master at it.
Great, then come with me.
No.
See?
No, that's exhausting.
That's the whole point.
No, it's not. I'm much better stationary.
Well, anyway.
No. But yes, so this is going to be a thing for the next 30 days.
Yes, and I'm excited about it. So I will say, as you guys know, I was having major issues where like I literally was eating everything in sight because I was on this medication that like I literally couldn't stop eating. I've finally gotten that out of like under control, and I lost 4 pounds of water weight, 1 pound of fat so far, and I'm on a really good path. And I got a little bit more to go, but working with the new program, and I'm excited trying out different workouts. I actually, sitting at the front door right now is a new weight rack where I have some new weights that you don't care about at all.
Not at all.
But I'm very excited.
But I'm excited that you're excited.
Once my back feels better because I was stupid. Okay, yeah. How about this? Real quick, PSA. Pay attention to the weights that you're picking up and always pick up your weights with intention. This is very important so you don't hurt yourself.
There's another way to fix this.
No.
Don't pick up the weights.
Always pick up the weights, just with intention. Because I went to go pick up what I thought were 20-pound dumbbells, not realizing that I had set up 40-pound dumbbells because I wasn't really thinking. And I just picked them up like, oh, this is going to be super light. But it wasn't. And I hurt my back. And I've been out of commission for 3 days now. And I'm pissed. So just pay attention to what you're doing and make sure you pick up your weights with intention, but pick up those weights.
So I'm off my soapbox. Another part of the PSA about why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So, I wear normally a webbed belt. I'm a big fan of the Royal Albatross belts. And I decided I was going to wear the Dormy Club belt, and it's belt holes, belt loop. But what are they called? The little holes.
Holes.
Yeah. And it had moved one.
Oh.
And I was like, oh.
Like a notch?
Yeah.
A notch.
Yeah. It was not, it was not good.
No.
Yeah. So, for the month of July, well, starting now, but through the month of July, every meal, every snack, post it in there and do that.
All right. I'm ready.
Let's Second challenge.
Yes.
So this kind of relates a little bit to, something that I'm going to discuss a little bit later in the show, the Shaft Up finale. And I guess I'm just going to jump into it now. So I'm skipping over a thing.
Okay.
We have something that we announced called the Shaft Up finale. And it's where if you've been in a Shaft Up now or what?
You skipped.
I just said I'm skipping over one.
Oh, but it rolled right into it.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
So we announced that we were going to do this. You're ruining my flow here.
You ruined the flow.
And anybody who's ever been in a US Team EMEA event has the chance.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love it.
I got a couple of messages about, well, that's really limiting your audience.
Sure.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't take anything away. We still have 3 Shaft Up events that people can get into, and the 4th one is just something to
reward the people who continue to do what we asked.
I just wanted to make sure people know that we're not taking one away from anybody. We're not limiting the field. There's still going to be 3 open spots. They're still going to be available for everybody, and we're excited to see it come down. But this rolls into the challenge I have, which is once a week, if you're an active THPer and you want to be part of these events, make a post about your equipment. I don't care if you got the equipment from the event. Just talk about your equipment. People love talking about equipment, but it seems like only new releases are getting discussed, and I know a lot of people have a lot of equipment in their bag, and I want to hear about it. And selfishly, that's what this is about, is I want to hear about what your thoughts are on equipment. It helps me better gauge what people want.
Yeah. I think it also helps the other members too, because someone might say, hey, I'm playing that too. What do you think about that club? Because I'm having this issue, or I'm doing really well with this club.
Yeah, selfishly,
it's a great way to engage.
I'm a big fan of transparency, and I say that a lot. But selfishly, there's some search engine optimization that takes place with those. But I really do want to hear about it. I saw a couple of posts recently ask questions. Go ahead.
There's a post that someone said, I don't know how to make a post on the forum. There's an entire, if you go onto the forum in the top left, it says we launched the new forum. And if you click on that link, it's full instructions on how to use the forum, including making a post.
Yeah, there you go. And it's super easy.
Yes.
Completely free to register for.
Sorry,
but
didn't mean to interrupt you.
I saw somebody make a post like, compare this to this. And I was like, wow, we have so many people playing these clubs. Why is nobody talking about them? And I looked and nobody's talking about them.
Yeah.
Now, if you get equipment from us and you're not talking about it, shame on you. You're a piece of shit.
Agreed.
But if you, however you got your equipment, just talk about it. And I know that people prefer to make silly jokes and just copy and paste Instagram posts or things like that. That's all cool. Nobody's ever going to tell you how to do, how to be on the forum.
Is
do
there,
it any way you want to.
Exactly.
But I'm asking and challenging people, make a post about your equipment, be it golf ball, driver, irons, whether you played or not, just make a post. So that's a separate challenge. Now, we just talked about health and nutrition. Do you want to kind of share your recipe of the week?
Sure. Since you broke the flow.
I have a tendency to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So, recipe of the week. I thought this was a fun one because it's kind of silly and throwback to comfort food, but it's healthy. So it's called Deep Dish Sloppy Joe Casserole. And it's
really good.
It's really good. It's, as usual, super easy to make. It's from one of my favorite recipe sites. Recipe sites. You guys have seen this one before. Not this recipe, but the site from Emily Bites. And I'm not going to go over all the ingredients, but I have done both ground beef, lean ground beef, and turkey. Both work perfectly fine. And
with beef.
But they both work fine though. And like here, it calls for mushrooms, carrot, onion. I used a food processor. I didn't chop anything up. I just put it all in there. Done. Super easy. But you can put whatever you want in there. I added peppers once. I've added spinach in there because I had some leftover spinach. You can't taste it. You just throw it in there and add some extra veggies for you. One time I didn't have red wine vinegar, so I put apple cider vinegar. Still fine. Still tasted delicious. So, mix it up, make it your own. You can totally change it up to whatever you want. If you don't have the mozzarella cheese, do cheddar, whatever. Do a mixture of both. Like, you can totally do whatever you want. And I only found one time an 8-ounce can of the pizza dough instead of the 11-ounce can. Just make it in a smaller casserole dish. Tastes exactly
and you'll have the
same.
Full recipe up on the
Exactly.
forum.
I've got the full recipe ready to go. But it's truly,
definitely make this one. It's not bad for you. It's a good way to kick off our health and nutrition.
The kids will love it. It's delicious. It's good comfort food, and it makes great leftovers. It actually reheats really, really well too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I mentioned the Shaft Up finale, and this kind of goes back into it. I got the question, how are people going to qualify?
Right.
It's very simple. If you've ever been into a US Team EMEA event or you get into one this coming year, just talk about equipment.
Yeah.
We're going to pick people. It's not a random contest. It's not anything like that. We're going to pick people and reward them based on activity to a trip of golf.
Correct.
So excited about that. Now, something else I'm excited about.
Yes.
I get excited when THPers get together and play golf.
Yes.
Especially if they actually live post it. If they just get together and play and don't tell anybody about it, no, fuck them. So,
I knew you were going to do it too. I was sitting there giving you the eyes, and I knew you were going to do it.
Those were other types of angry eyes. I get a lot of them.
You should know my different angry eyes.
But there was a challenge thrown out by JB Cobb or David Hibbler. I saw JB Cobb, one of our forum members, kind of challenging another forum member. And I'm like, wow, this is an epic pillow fight we have coming up, because they're clearly not going to play golf. But then it got super weird. But first, it's always awesome when THPers get together and play golf.
Absolutely.
And when they live post it and get people excited, like, it's just awesome. And it's super humbling.
It's so funny because it actually makes all the THPers feel like they're there with them. It really does.
That's the whole point of live update threads and everything else. That's what it's all about. But they started this thing. They worked out a match and where they're going to do it. And then like the details start coming out. And then you realize, well, JB Cobb's going on vacation with his family and he's going to sneak in around, which means he may or may not have a stroller with him on the course. And David Hibbler may meet his cousin, who may also be his uncle. And they may or may not be entering a cult together. And like the whole thing is getting super weird, but I'm excited for it. Who do you have in the match?
Ooh, I don't know.
Well, that's a great answer.
I don't want to play favorites.
Yeah, there's no playing favorites. You're making a prediction.
I don't really know like their skill level.
They both lose.
I feel like
no, they're both awesome.
No, they're both awesome, but I feel like Hibbler might get into Cobb's head.
Is that possible?
I think so.
It's possible.
I think that like Cobb's gonna talk a good game,
Yeah.
but then Hibbler's gonna like get into his head like quietly, like a
So,
sneaky assassin.
I could see it going
That's
one
what
of
I
two
think,
ways.
but I don't know.
There's two thoughts I have going into this. The first
I'm rooting
is
for you both.
that's weak. The first is David Hibbler's coming each time he makes these guarantees.
No, that wasn't my favorite. I didn't mean it like that. Sorry.
Each time he makes these guarantees, they've been against me and he's lost. I feel like he's got something to prove here and he's going to go out and do his thing. But the other way it could go is if he starts to get down and he presses a little bit, all of a sudden this could end up differently, in which case he JB Cobb picks up the victory. It could happen.
Or
no,
Cobb drives the cart off a
cliff.
ledge. Yeah.
And we never hear from either one of them
Yeah.
again. That's the one we don't want to happen.
No.
But, you know, it's possible.
Now, if they both like show up in wrestling gear, that would be amazing.
So last time I saw JB Cobb was at an event and he had the armbands, the wristband. I
was there
and,
too.
You know, headband, the whole
amazing.
9 yards. And I feel like David Hibbler should show up on the first tee wearing that. And when I made that post and said, like, I think this should happen, he was like, that's not going to happen.
Why? Just pack some Slim Jims.
I mean, he's one step away from wearing a white coat and showing up in Nikes and drinking Kool-Aid on the tee anyway.
Oh my God.
So like, I feel like this is the way to go. Go for the psych out right away on the first tee. Get a couple of pictures in, then you can take the gear off and go about your business.
The sweatbands will come in handy in the heat.
No, they should never be worn.
Yeah,
ever.
that's what they're there for.
No.
Yes.
A towel does just fine.
Ooh,
Plus, it can double as a crying towel.
a cool mango towel.
Yeah, that would work too. But I think it's awesome. I hope they live post it and it doesn't turn into, oh, this is great. Oh, here was the update on hole 7.
Yeah,
we forgot.
every hole.
But I think people are waiting to hear who the Grandaddy winner is.
Yeah, I think.
Should we tell them or should we wait a little longer?
I think we should tell them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had a contest, and it's a great segue because it's THPer's playing in this as well.
Exactly.
And there were a lot of entries. We did it randomly. It wasn't a judged contest. So join me in congratulating Kay Mensch.
Congratulations.
You are headed to the Grandaddy.
Yes.
With that said, next week's show, we will be announcing the next Grandaddy contest.
Okay.
Where people, it's the ultimate trip. I mean, we pride ourselves in putting on good experiences, events. This is unlike anything that we can do.
Yes.
It's truly the best of the best. And we're excited for more people to fill out this team.
Agreed.
I think that M. Maynard, I thought I saw his name in the comments. So I think he's in here. He's the captain. Yeah, he is ducking you. But he's the captain of this year's team, voted on by THPers, and he can welcome this guy in properly. But Kay Mensch, you are headed to California. You ready for your rant?
Oh, yes, I am ready for my rant.
Why don't you fix the camera then? Because that's my rant.
Rude.
Yeah.
So rude. Okay. My rant, I feel like everybody can relate to this one.
Oh, cell phones in the grocery store on speakerphone?
No, I already did that rant.
Okay.
But that is a good rant.
Yeah, it is.
No. My rant is when somebody calls you or texts you and leaves you a message or sends you a text and it says, hey, can I ask you a huge favor? And that's it. And then you
don't hear from them for a while.
And then you don't hear from them.
Yeah.
And then you wait and you wait. Because that's a loaded question. I'm not going to answer with, yeah, sure, whatever. No, I need to know what the favor is before I can tell you yes or no, I'm going to do it. I'm not, that's like, you're setting me up.
Yeah. The next thing you know, you're helping somebody pack and move.
Yeah. Like, no.
F that.
Yeah. So usually my response is depends on the favor or something to that effect, because I'm not about to just go answer and be like, yeah, sure, whatever it is. I'm happy to help. No, you picked the wrong person because that's just not who I am.
It cuts into your rucksack time.
It cuts into my rucksack time.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which, by the way, for people who are asking, I think their slogan is something like, we're not a cult. Which is weird.
Oh, then Hibbs and Cobb are out, if you were wondering.
Yeah, there's no Kool-Aid here.
Yeah.
They actually did say something like that. But yeah, but things like that. Or what was the other one we were talking about earlier too?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, can I ask you a question?
So,
and then waiting.
Without going into detail, there was somebody in the golf industry that we both know. And every single time we've seen her, it's, can I ask you a question? You just freaking did.
Oh, yeah.
Just ask me the question. We don't need that part.
Yeah.
Skip it.
Yeah.
Skip right over it. If Michael Verska's watching, he knows, and he's probably laughing right now.
Yeah.
I want to mention, just up right now, we are giving these away on Twitter, and they're actually kind of cool. They're numbered 75, and it says play 75 right there to celebrate 75 years of being the most used ball in majors and stuff.
Cool.
So we are giving these away on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, doesn't take much to enter. Simple retweet and a comment. But yeah, so we are giving those away. So I wanted to mention that. And we're back next week.
We are, because you are actually in town.
I know.
It's amazing.
And we are going to have the Granddaddy contest news.
Yes.
And it is going to be a creative contest.
Uh-oh.
And it will be judged by people.
Okay.
So all these people,
always tricky.
All these people watching, you will be judged. I mean, I do that anyway.
I know.
But
with the judgy eyes.
Yes, the judgy eyes.
The judgy eyes.
But that's it this week.
That's it.
So thank you guys for all tuning in. Like I said, we're back next week with another show with a Granddaddy contest and a whole bunch of news. I haven't said it yet because I don't think it's been recorded yet. But off course this week, Dan has a pretty good guest on, and if you like golf gear,
we're hoping. He's under the weather, so we're hoping it can happen.
If you get a chance, tune into that if it drops on Friday.
Dan just texted me and said, "Hey, I need a huge favor."
Okay, great. No,
jerk.
The answer is no. But thanks everybody. We will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.